Hey guys, I have to say I'm super excited about the release of the new Insta360 Go 2. So what's the main difference between this new device and the original Insta360 Go? And should you buy one? Well, in this video, all those questions will be answered, so don't go away. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we review tech related to making YouTube videos and other new camera release videos just like this one. So if you're liking this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. So last week, Insta360 put out a teaser video about the release of their new camera, and here it is, the Insta360 Go 2. It looks quite similar but different to the original Insta360 Go, but being true to form, Insta360 have made some significant improvements versus the original model. So in this video, we're going to zero in on the main differences between the old Go and the new Go 2. When the original Insta360 Go was released in late 2019, it took the camera world by storm. Never before had a device so small been able to capture such amazing footage. Advertised as the 20-gram Steadicam, the device captures video in full HD quality, so that's 1080p, and can do hyperlapses, time lapses, and has crazy stabilization. And what's more, it's magnetic and can be mounted pretty much anywhere. It attaches to clothes, but also thanks to an army of small mounts that come with the camera, it can be clipped or hung on anything from a bike, surfboard, helmet, pretty much anywhere you can think of. And it's consistently been one of my go-to devices, no pun intended, to capture quick additional B-roll clips at interesting angles. And now the second generation of the camera is available, and man, oh man, have they packed in a bunch of new and upgraded features. If you were ever on the fence about getting one of these in the past, well, you may need to think again because this new device looks fantastic. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, and probably what many of you are concerned about the most, is the video quality. Now, as I said before, the original can record 1080p at 25 frames a second, but as for the Go 2, well, they've upped this to, in my opinion, a very acceptable 2K and added an additional frame rate option of 50 frames a second. Now this is great because it allows you to do a little bit more slow motion without having to do super slow-mo. Now, I know a lot of people were hoping for 4K, but to be honest, I think they would have been asking a little bit much, and even if they did do that, they probably wouldn't have then been able to improve one of the other most important features, which I'll talk about later. In addition to the improved resolution you can capture with the Go 2, the effective bitrate has also more than doubled, from 30 megabits a second all the way to 80 megabits per second. Now this is a huge improvement and will definitely make a difference to the quality of the video that it can capture. Now, as I was speaking about slow motion earlier, they have also upped the frame rate from 100 frames a second to 120 frames per second, which gives you slightly more ability to slow down your footage even further. In addition to the resolution and frame rate boost, it can now record HDR, which gives you a deeper, richer image and also a little bit more range in post-production editing. I have to say I am so impressed with the number of upgrades this little camera has received, and there's a lot more to come, including a massive game changer. So stick with me. If you're liking the video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Next is stabilization. The original camera was introduced with Insta360's proprietary flow state stabilization technology. Now this allowed you to even rotate the camera 360 degrees and the horizon would lock in place, which is pretty amazing. Now given that the cameras are so small and prone to so much movement and shaking, it was absolutely amazing that the footage that you could capture was so stable. I guess that's why they call it the 20-gram Steadicam. Well, they've been able to improve on that as well. Next, and for me, what I think is the game-changing upgrade, is the recording time. Now this has had a massive boost. The original Go can record up to a maximum of 5 minutes. You can select 15-second, 30-second or 1-minute clips, or 5 minutes in FPV mode. Now, as much as I love this device, this restriction kind of relegated it to very small B-roll segments that you try and weave into your main video, or maybe you just used it to get quick clips for Instagram. The new device lets you capture 10 to 30 minutes of recording, which is fantastic. And now this opens up a whole new raft of possibilities with regard to your filmmaking. You can capture longer clips with a view to grabbing segments out in post-production, and this gives you so much more flexibility because you aren't hoping you capture the footage you need in a 30-second to 1-minute window. As for physical changes to the device, well, they've done quite a bit in that area too. First of all, it's now fully waterproof up to 4 meters, which is fantastic. The original device was considered water resistant. In fact, it was kind of okay to even give it a little bit of a dunking, but certainly not being submerged for any great length of time. Although I did see some people take theirs underwater for short periods, I was never game enough to try it. Well, you can now take the device underwater with confidence, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities as well. Next, the glass is meant to be a new, tougher, strengthened glass, which is great. I never had any problems with the original, but I do tend to baby my gear anyway. I'm not saying that you can now treat it with reckless abandon, but hey, at least it gives you a little bit more confidence when you're using it in slightly more extreme situations, or when you're traveling with it and it's in and out of your bag or pocket. Look, I feel like I've covered so many improvements already, but one of the most exciting changes to the device is actually to the case that it comes in. And this is where they've made a heap of changes, and I'm super excited about what they've done. The case, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Insta360 Go, the case is where you not only store the camera when you're not using it, but you also use it to charge the device and to more easily transfer footage to your smartphone. Well, the case for the new device is even more functional. It still charges the camera, but they've added even more things you can do with it. First up, they've added a small LCD screen so you can more easily navigate the menus and settings. Previously, you could only change the settings versus the Insta360 app, so this makes it much easier to change settings on the fly without necessarily having to connect it to your phone. In addition to that, this means that it can also now act as a remote control, which allows you to not only help with framing, but starting and stopping recording. This in itself is unbelievably helpful. And if that wasn't enough, next, they've built little legs into the case itself that fold out, allowing you to use it as a handy little tripod. How cool is that? Now you have to take even less things with you when you're heading out. Not that the gear and accessories that come with the camera are particularly large themselves, but anything that makes operating something like this easier is great, because it makes the user experience that much more enjoyable, and you ultimately use it more, get better with it, and capture better footage. The battery life of the camera has also improved. The original device's battery would give you roughly 60 minutes of runtime, which is about equivalent to 200 clips a day at an 18-odd second average clip. It would take about 30 minutes to charge, and the case itself would take around 60 minutes to charge. So the life of both batteries have now been extended, which is important given you now have the ability to take longer clips. So tell me, what's your favorite feature of the new camera so far? Let me know in the comment section below. And then there's the question of whether you should get one, or if you already have the original Insta360 Go, should you upgrade? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Without a shadow of a doubt, you should absolutely get one. If you vlog, if you want B-roll, if you run and gun, then there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you should get one of these cameras. They're so small that there's no excuse not to have it with you, and you'll be able to capture fun and unusual angles that you just cannot get with a normal camera or even a standard action camera. The stabilized footage you can get out of one of these is nothing short of incredible. In fact, I did a stabilization comparison between the Insta360 Go and the GoPro Hero 9 camera, so check it out there if you want to see the comparison and results. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.